Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining me for Tai Chi today. Today the practice that we're going to work on is called the MERIDIAN QIGOng form with 6 healing sounds. And the opening practice that we're going to do is an energy medicine practice, actually, and it's called the cross crawl. So let me talk to you a little bit first about meridians. Meridians are the channels that flow through your body, your arms, through your legs, up your front, down your spine, inside, outside. They're flowing every direction. And the meridians carry the chi. And when the chi is flowing and the chi is balanced, it's balanced right, balanced left, up and down, then we feel good. We feel good in our body and our mind, our thoughts, our spirit. But when our meridians and the energy of the chi flow within our body gets stuck, or if it's out of balance, then we may have symptoms with the physical body, such as pain or discomfort, or we may have sort of feelings that are negative and weigh us down, or we just may have a sense of things not being right. So with the cross crawl, one of the things we're going to be really working on is that the flow of the chi and the energy is going to cross over properly in the body. As we all know from our Western science classes, the left brain guides the right body, the right brain guides the left body. And it's very important for these energy channels, these neurochannels, these electrical channels within our bodies. It's very important that they connect and work. Just like our phones and our TVs go out when we lose our Wi-Fi signal, it's kind of the same thing with our bodies. So one of the things I like about the cross crawl is, number one, it's very simple. And number two, there's been a lot of interesting research with school children, and especially children with learning disabilities. And what they discovered is that if these children did the cross crawl at the beginning of their class, that they were able to perform significantly better in their work. They could read faster, they could comprehend better what they read, and just overall, their brain and their body seem to be working better. So let's do the cross crawl. We're going to begin very simple, just by tapping on the thigh of the leg, or if you prefer, you can tap on the knee, or if either one of those is uncomfortable, you can actually tap higher up. The place really doesn't matter. But right now, this is when we're beginning with the energy in a kind of dysfunctional state. And we're assuming that energy is not crossing over. And so if we begin at this state, it helps your body accept and change better to the crossing over practice. So here we go. So now we're going to cross over. Just walking and crossing over, tapping the opposite leg. So you see that we're crossing the center line of the body. Okay, now we're going to go back to the same side. Now you might say, why are we going back to the same side when really we want the body energy to cross? Well, the reason is that we don't want to leave your body behind. if there are certain parts, and crossing back over again, there are certain parts of your body that just aren't balanced and aren't working right, then we need to go back and pick those up. So that's just why we go back and forth. Another nice thing about this practice is that we're actually walking. So you can get a little exercise inside with this practice if the weather's bad outside. So we're going to cross over one more time. You notice I'm giving myself a pretty good smack here, and it really feels good. It's like a little burst of chi and a release of energy blocks. Okay, now we're going to go back to the cross crawl. Crossing over. And now we're going to slow down and we're going to stop. So let's stand like a tree for a few minutes so that we can really check in with your body and with your energy. So let's begin with your feet. Just feel your feet sinking into the earth, just as they do at the beach when you walk on the wet sand. You leave your footprints behind. So that's really important, because below my feet is the earth's energy. And a very helpful way to conceive of it is that we have a large ball or sphere of energy right beneath our feet. So when we send our roots down, then we're able to draw strength and energy, and that energy comes up to nourish your whole body. So now relax your fingertips, relax your shoulders. Go 1 inch taller. Let your hands float out a little ways from your body. And now open the crown of your head. There's a wonderful acupuncture point in the crown of your head, and that's where we receive the energy from the sky and the cosmos above us. So just take a moment and see if you can experience that point in the crown of your head, and just with your mind, open up and receive the energy of the sun, the moon, the stars, the planets, the Milky Way, and beyond. So let's bring your hands into your belly, and let's take a nice deep breath. Breathe into your belly, breathe into your chest, and release a nice long exhale. So again, breathe into your belly, breathe into your chest, and exhale, nice, long, slow. And we'll do this one more time. We'll do it in silence. And now let's just gather the energy back into our dantian, into our belly. So let's move on now, and we're going to focus on the MERIDIAN QIGONG form. As I mentioned, your body is like the earth. and the meridians are like the rivers. And the rivers each have a certain place to flow. They have a certain quality, a certain character, and they are connected to different organs. So this particular form is set up in such a way that you stretch and open the meridians of the particular organs that we'll be working with. And as you may remember, if you did any of the earlier videos, each organ, when it gets stuck, when your chi gets stuck in it, then there's certain negative emotions that pop up. And when we release and clear the negative emotions with the healing sound and with the movement, then something emerges that's already there. It's a power, it's a light within you, and that is the organ at its healthiest and its best. So let's begin. The first movement in the Meridian Qigong is for the lungs. So we touch our lungs, and the emotion that gets stuck in the lungs is sadness. And the sound that we use to release the sadness is SSS. So we're going to begin the movement for this particular practice, for the lung practice, and you'll notice that with the movement, we're going to be tracing the lungs. Very simple movement. But as you trace the lungs, as you do this movement, think about your lungs and how you have lungs in the front, lungs in the back, and you have an energy field around the lungs. So imagine that you are moving your hands as you would draw your hand through the water in a river or a lake, that you're moving and opening, creating pathways with your movements. So we're going to release sadness and grief and open the lungs. Here we go. Breathing in, circling the lungs. In, feeling sounds, releasing grief. Let's do one more time in silence. Let's go back, touch your lungs, smile down into your lungs. When we release sadness and grief, the innate quality of strength, which is already there, emerges. Okay, let's go to our next practice. And that will be for the spleen. The spleen is on the left side of your rib cage right here. The emotion that gets stuck in the spleen is worry, anxiety, and overthinking. And so to release those negative emotions, we're going to use the spleen healing sound, which is H-O. Just to walk you through the movement, the spleen is associated with grounding and with the earth element. So we're going to focus on the meridian channels which are in the legs. So we're going to go down the outside of the legs, and in your mind's eye, bring the movement of your hands under your feet, and now imagine that you are coming up the inside. And you're sinking down in this movement directly and straight down. You're not bending forward as though you were using a post hole there, getting deeper grounded in the earth. So let us begin. So we're breathing in, under the feet, up the inside, and now exhale, H-O. In, sinking down, going down the outside, now up the inside. And this will be our last time. We'll do it in silence. So we're going to go to the spleen now. Touch the spleen. We're going to smile. Let's smile down into the spleen. And when the anxiety disappears, then what's already there and emerges, becomes available to you, is trust. Basic trust. Trust in life. Things will be okay. So our next meridian we're going to be working with is the heart. So we'll touch our heart. There are 4 meridians, not 2, associated with the heart, which gives you an idea of how important they are. So this time, as we work with the heart, we're going to be focusing on the negative experience of self-criticism and self-judgment. So many times we hear a voice in our head, it chatters on, and it tells us that we've done things all wrong. We've made big mistakes. Or it may be telling us that we haven't done what we should do. So when we work with the heart, we are releasing these blocks to the flow of the heart. So extend our hands up, and I'm going to circle down to my right. Do it whatever way you want to. Circle down. Oh, the healing sound is H-A. So we're not going to do the healing sound just yet. We're just going to practice the movement. So notice that it's like the heart. You know, our heart pumps out, and then it gathers back in. So right now, we're going to begin to do the practice. We're going to use the healing sound, H-A, and we are releasing ourselves from harsh judgment and criticism we often give. So breathing in. And breathing out. H-I-A is the sound. Breathing in. And breathing out. In. And releasing self-criticism and our judgments. Last one. So now let's touch the heart, smile into your heart. When you smile into your heart, you release the blocks that are there. What emerges is unconditional love and acceptance. So just enjoy that. Okay, so our next one we're moving to is the kidneys. So we'll put our hands on our kidneys, massage them a little bit. So what gets stuck in the kidneys is fear. So the practice that we're going to do is for releasing fear. So here's how the practice goes. Going to look down as though we were gazing into the pond. And keep your back straight and honor your back at this point. Don't do anything to hurt your back. It should feel good. And then come up using your thigh muscles. That again protects your back. And we're going to bring the hands up like we're riding a wave. I forgot to tell you that the kidneys are associated with the element of water. So it really is nice to think of entering the water as you do this practice, and think of gazing into the water, and then think of riding a wave up. So here we go. So, oh, the sound, the healing sound. The healing sound is C-H-U, and that's to release the fear. So, here we go. Breathing in. Breathing out. Saying the C-H-U sound. So, bending down, keeping your back straight, breathing in, and last one we'll do in silence. So let's go back and connect with your kidneys, smile into your kidneys. When you release fear through these movements and through the healing sounds, what comes up is wisdom. If you think back in your life, you can probably remember a situation where fear was blocking you from knowing what was the best thing to do in a situation. But when we release the fear, that knowing, that wisdom comes up. So now from the kidneys, we're going to go to the second part number 2. And this part is called the pericardium. And the first time when we dealt with the heart, and we'll still touch our heart, first time we dealt with the heart, we were really focusing on love for ourselves and how we block it. The pericardium really has to do with the other side of love, and that love is the love that we have for other people. And you probably know that sometimes when you go into a group of people, it doesn't feel good. It could be a work group, it could be a worship group, it could be a family group, it could be political group, it could be any group. But there's that sense of pulling back, and I'm not comfortable here, and I can't connect here. So what the pericardium does is to help you to release that discomfort that you feel in certain social or human gatherings and interactions, so that you can have your grounded heart comfortable wherever you go. I'm going to back up a little bit so that hopefully you can see the whole movement. I think you can see it. So it begins by opening your arms. So we'll just walk through it here. So when you think about it, when you open your arms, it's a very heartful gesture. It's opening your heart. So I like to think of this movement as we're going to turn to one side. I'm turning to the left, but it can be either way. You come back to the center. I like to think of myself as embracing all that I see. So my heart is open. I am strong. I am confident in my own self. I trust myself, and therefore I can embrace everything. So let's begin. We'll do this practice together. The healing sound is the same as the first part, HA. So breathing in, breathing in again, breathing out the healing sound, HA. Breathing in, breathing out the healing sound, HA. In. Once more in silence. So let's come back to your heart, and we'll smile into your heart and give thanks for the confidence and for the self-love that we can bring into any group or any gathering to enable us to embrace and to love. I'm going to come a little bit forward again for the next one. So the last organ that we'll be working with is the liver. And the liver's on the right side here in your rib cage. So what gets stuck in the liver is anger. And so the healing sound that we use to release the anger is SH. Just try that a few times. You know, we'll just kind of walk through the movement first. So the liver meridian runs up and down on both sides. We have the liver on the right side. The liver meridian is on both sides. And so we begin like we're holding a ball here in front of your solar plexus. And then I am actually going to step. This is my right foot. I'm going to step. But if you're watching this and you want to just mirror me, that is no problem. It is fine. So I'm going to step, and as I step, my right hand is going to go up and my left hand is going to go down. And notice that I'm stretching my liver on the right and I'm compressing it on the left. So now I step back. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to breathe in. One hand goes up, stretching. The other hand goes down, compressing. And the healing sound is SH. Okay, so let's do it together. to the center. Breathe in. The healing sound. Release the healing sound. Breathing in as you come to the center. Stepping. Back to the center. Breathing in. You do it one more time in silence. We come back. So let's come back to the liver. We're going to smile at the liver. So now that we have released the anger through the movements, healing sounds, and the breath, then what emerges that was already there is kindness, compassion. Sometimes people have called the liver as the nonprofit agency of the body. When the liver is released from anger, then the desire to provide help and assistance, to reach out, move forward, is there. So we embrace that kindness. And relax. And the last movement of this form actually does not connect to an organ, but to a meridian. And that meridian is called the triple warmer. The triple warmer meridian is most closely associated with what we call in the West the sympathetic nervous system, the activation of the sympathetic nervous system. And another word we could give it would be stress. So the triple warmer meridian in our bodies is ancient. It goes back to the days of the cavemen and the cave women, and this triple warmer was there to guard your body. So anything in your environment that changed at that time, triple warmer got you ready to run or to fight. But in our modern society, for the most part, we don't need those things, and things change all the time. So most of us go around with a very stressed out triple warmer unless you're intentional about it. So we're going to close this practice with a practice for a movement for the triple warmer, and this healing sound for the triple warmer is H-E-E. So we'll just walk through the movement. So what we're going to do is bring the energy up over your head, and then gently bring it right down the core, the center of your body, all the way down. And so as we go up, we gather all of our cares, our worries, our stresses, and as our hands go down, we release these stresses and worries down into the earth. And the healing sound is H-E-E. So let's practice it now. Feel your whole body relaxing. Breathing in. Healing sound. Now we're going to try something. We're going to use we're going to pause right here so I can explain this. When you make a sound without using your vocal cords. It vibrates internally. When you use a sound and you use your vocal cords, it vibrates out, sends out like a radio signal. So as we close this practice, we're going to do it both ways. And we're going to begin by using our vocal cords. The second time we'll use just without the vocal cords, and the third time we'll use the vocal cords. So here we go. This time, no vocal cords. This will be the last time we use up. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have a wonderful week.